Danny, this time yesterday, there was no you, there was no anybody. It was Simon and myself on air, and we were jousting a bit about the merits or demerits of having José Mourinho as the coach of your team at the moment. And Roma dispensed with his services yesterday, saying it was in the best interests of the club that they part company. Dan and Ryan Friedkin, the club's owners over there at AS Roma, said, "We will always have great memories of his tenure at Roma, but we believe that an immediate change is in the best interests of the club." And Mourinho was sent packing, somewhat tearful, sitting in a car on the way out with some supporters around the car. That's by the by. A, does it surprise you? And B, have we seen the end of him now?
Nothing surprised me anymore in football management in terms of what sackings and departures. I think he overall can be pleased with the job he did at Roma. I mean, they won a trophy. And then actually getting to the Europa League final the season after is probably a bigger achievement than winning that Europa Conference in terms of the quality you're up against and competing at that level. So he did what he went in there to do, which was get some success and give them some joy. And that's why the fans, a lot of them, were with him. There were still many episodes of ridiculous behaviour. He doesn't seem to learn in that respect. But there's no doubt what he's been and what he's achieved in his career. He'll be up there with the greats in terms of how he's had success at every single club he's been at, bar one.
But that's the point to stress, isn't it? This man and I were disagreeing to a degree that, yes, I agree. There's no argument about what he's done, what he has been, but it's about now, isn't it? And I'm not sure he can replicate that. Fanboy Mourinho here was saying but I'm not sure
he'll get the opportunity to replicate his heights of the past, because he'd have to go to a club that's really well established,
which is what I said,
and a big club.
No, you didn't. But
I don't think he'll get that opportunity. Do I think he'll get other opportunities to manage if he wants to? Yes, but not at the level he has before.
Which is what I said.
Which not at the level he has before.
Because you don't think he'll get an elite opportunity.
No, because why would you take the risk when there's so many other good coaches around?
What has he become?
Well, in some respects, he's a liability in terms of the contention he brings and the problems he brings. He's always going to have fallouts and have sendings off and arguments with the press and arguments with officials, because it's what he does.
Is it for show?
I think it's to create a certain mentality within his own group to show that he cares and this is what you need to do to win. You need to have the same passion as me. And I think it's because over years and years of being super successful and eulogised about, your ego gets the better of you and you think you're really important.
Would that have worked on you in dressing rooms you've been in?
I'd have loved to have worked under him because he's a winner. And I was devastated looking back that I thought he was going to get the Liverpool job when they gave it Benitez.
But I always hear that. Tell me a manager who's a loser.
I'll show you a few.
A born loser.
Well, I don't...
No, but he's a winner.
I mean, winner on paper.
Outcomes.
But you're also saying he's a liability. So can you be one and not the other?
Well, I think he's become more of that. I think he's become more engrossed in his own reputation and how people perceive him and how important that is to him. I don't know. Maybe I'm not explaining it very well. Ultimately,
are we basing that just upon his last two appointments? Because he's a winner and an asset to the Portuguese club. He was the same at Chelsea. Albeit, I think he engineered his own departure because he couldn't keep on getting what he wanted from Abramovich. He goes into Milan. Was it Milan next, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or was it Madrid? He wins there. He goes to Madrid, if it was, or whichever order Milan and Madrid came in, he wins there. He goes to Man United. He wins things there. So we're talking about two top clubs, but not top clubs.
Big clubs.
Big clubs in Tottenham and Roma.
But Ten Hag has already won something at United.
He gets Roma. He gets Tottenham to a cup final, gets booted out. He gets Roma to a cup final, wins one. He's won something everywhere. So I don't know where we're going with this. Is he at the level that he once was? Has the dial moved on?
Would you agree he's a liability?
Not really. It's only only liability if you don't factor in the reality of what he is.
Well, also,
if you hire José Mourinho and you don't expect to give him precisely what he requires to do the job that you've tasked him to do, which is to win things, which is the reason why you've got him there, then what's the point of having him there?
Yeah, maybe the word liability is wrong, because he's not a liability in terms of what he brings from
He's a challenge.
He's a liability in terms of his behaviour and the reputation that can precede him.
But it wasn't always like that.
I think he probably was.
In his first season at Chelsea, he was an absolute joy.
Because he got what he wanted.
But he was a joy behaviourally.
Most
He was
managers
a joy to watch.
managers are easier when they're winning and more charming.
Well, as
and,
being a serial winner, he was a joy to have around the
I,
place.
as I said at the beginning, if you're a football club, and there will be some out there who need some success or need somebody to come in and get you not instantaneous, but pretty quickly on the right path, he's very capable of doing that. Because he knows how to get
Do you not
results.
price into your thinking, Jim, that life changes people? As you get older, your attitude changes from being a younger, more fresh-faced, perhaps more naive, perhaps more flexible person. And as you get older, you become more intransigent. It's human nature. And you also become, specifically if you're in an industry like football, which is so much self-gratification, you become full of your own importance a little bit, because that's the environment that you're in. Right, so he is just a product of that environment.
Well, he's a product of his own success,
and his personality has not changed. He walked in the door. He wasn't being pleasant when he turned around to a group of audience, a journalist, saying, "I am not one from the bottle. I'm a special." It wasn't him being pleasant and charming. It was taken that way.
Yeah, but it was also intriguing and entertaining, Simon.
Because no one had ever said it before.
He's
Hold on,
neither
are
that,
we-
he's neither that now.
And they would have loved him to have failed, but he didn't. He won. Right, and he engineered.
But when he said that, I wanted him to win. I wanted him to live up to it because I liked what he said and I liked him.
But you're changing your mind then, aren't you?
I would
Of course.
I would also say to you, Jim, and you're not going to like this, that when you deal with the British media, there is this propensity that they cannot wait to bring you down. So that's why he gets into certain conversations where he's talking to the media about respect 3 times, because he's seen it, he's watched the certain segments of the media going, "I'm going to take you down. I'm going to write things about you."
You don't think the Italian media is every bit
But he doesn't have
as
that.
tough to deal with?
But you know what-
He
as the
he doesn't seem to have that relationship with the Italian media.
You know what's frustrating, though, for someone who's been so successful and wonderful at his job? Even that stuff you just mentioned there about I've won it 3 times, that's more than any other manager in the Premier League at the moment, that famous conference when he was at Man United. Don't need to say it, because everyone says it for you.
Yes, exactly.
Everyone says it for you when you've done that much, you're that successful.
Exactly.
I never understand it.
Personalities
And
are
I think when the
different.
Friedkins are saying we need to change in the best interest of the team had become a not a very pleasant watch.
But where would we be
The
without
team had become
personalities like-
a captain like Mancini, who is assured of a yellow, if not a red.
Where would we
a
be?
captain like Pellegrini, who's assured of getting into disciplinary trouble.
Well, your team reflects.
Cristante,
Your team will reflect you in the end.
Paredes.
Your team will reflect you in the end.
Yeah.
You know, I've
We
played
need
for managers who are disciplined and speak well and don't blame other people, and they've got, Julio's a no blame culture. Even if you thought it in your own dressing room, you're not going to go out there and say it. Mourinho wasn't that. And Simon's right. Individual characters of different personalities and traits is what we love. But ultimately, if we're talking about, there's no doubt.
He's box office.
Yeah, there's
box office.
there's nobody on this planet who knows football who could underestimate or undervalue his success and what he's achieved in the game. What you could argue now is, for him to walk into a big club and have success again, I think is unrealistic.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Did you listen to what I said yesterday?
No,
You seem to be
Danny
saying- say it's the same
didn't.
thing.
He decided to get his head cleared and come in for the show this
Jim
morning.
said you didn't say that.
I
Without
said precisely that.
having heard that. Little Sireko sitting on my shoulder here. I said that yesterday. I said that yesterday. I said that yesterday. What are you saying now, boy? Quarter to
Same as I
12.
said yesterday.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.